Okay, I think I have things mentally sorted out. All right, so here's what's a little overwhelming. First thing is that like I said, the rules don't say when exactly these come out, and I think they come out immediately. So we're going to do this as part of the amphibious landing phase and get them out there. And yes, I do need to sort, where am I going to do things and with what. It's not easy at all, to be quite honest with you. And I don't have the game experience to tell you, you know what, one regiment's all you need to take out Suribachi. I don't have that, that mastery of this game. So we're going to just sort of explore this together. And I think everybody on Board Game Geek agrees that these black position hexes are quite the trouble. So we're going to have a good time, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, now as far as the reinforcements go, I did get them written down. They're on the back of my my priorities card, and basically the rules are pretty straightforward. So you can go into the reserve at the end of an action phase. It doesn't actually cost you an action. You can actually do an action and then go into the reserve after. And it says at the end of a action phase. So I think you can even do that like at the end of a Japanese action phase. So that's the part, no. There is only one thing called an action phase, and that's the US action phase. So we're gonna house rule that, or clarify that to say US action phase. You just can't be in a field of fire. That's the only restriction, and you must stay for one full day. Okay, so that was the 3-thing suggestion. Units not in the reserve get replacements in the morning only, which is now. Only 1 step, but not tanks in intense field of fire. So if you're in intense field of fire with tanks, I guess the tank, for whatever reason, is the only thing that can't get a bonus. So I'm just writing something off to the side here. Every morning, reinforcements, +1 naval gun, and +1 airstrike. I just don't want to forget those. Those are important things if we're ever going to win this. Okay, we get 1 free tank, and I'm talking about a step level, right? We get 1 free tank for every 2 that's in the reserve pool. We get 1 free engineer for every 3 in the reserve pool. So just by having units in the reserve, if there's enough units in there, the units on the field, these guys, can get a free pip based on what's in the reserve. So that's our freebies. Then, if you look in the reserve pool, there's no limit to how much replacements you can take there. Remember, you have to stay there for a full day. But while you're there, you can get fully healed. Now, every point you spend, of course, is going off of the reinforcement points over here. Those aren't free, but you can still spend them and get them back up to full health. If a full battalion is in the reserve, then the division gets a point. So what that means is we just get to move one of those markers up by +1. So we're moving them down by -1 for every 1 we spend here, but by having a full battalion in the reserve, we get a +1. And if all 3 battalions in the regiment is in reserve, so that's the red, white, and blue battalions, so that's the entire regiment, if you will, then the division gets another +1. And so that's the rules for the HQ. And we're in that phase right now, and we just have to place our stuff. So I did look it over, and let's start with the 4th Division first. 4th Division is for sure going to go towards Sector 3. They're not going to help with Suribachi at all. And so now it's just a matter of how do I divide it. I have this HW that landed here. I have these 2 HW units there. We have the 25th Division. I'm just looking, here. This is the 25th Division. This is the 24th division here. And we have the 24th all the way out here and the 25th. So you're seeing a theme that the 24th and 25th are here. So I'm going to put those two to the side. And then there's the 23rd, which, by the way, is the disrupted one over here. So I want to put the 23rd up here. So now the next question becomes is where do we not have field of fire? Because I want to make a command post right away. I don't want to piss around with this. And so we have to look at our fire. The red unit is here, and he projects a fire down. But like, see this green spot here? That green spot is a wonderful spot. See that? Nobody's projecting fire there. No one's projecting fire on this green spot either, or even this one down by the beach. But I think I want to go up a few notches. So this green spot is a wonderful location. Actually, both of the green spots really are. And if I need to go backwards one, I can go here. But also blue isn't projecting a field of fire here. So if I want to put one in the airport, I can go here and then get some airport influence going. Or I can go even left one more and get it there. So those are my options that are in front of me. Now, had I taken out red or blue, I could have gone a whole lot further up. And that would have been pretty interesting, in fact. So here's my thoughts. I'm going to put two of them down here. And then what's going to happen is one of these is going to tear down and move forward as we start to gain ground. And then establish a new post. And then the other one will tear down and move forward. So we'll sort of do like a staggered approach. And then whatever one is here, he's going to have, this is just a temporary stop. Because once we take out blue and red, I want to move this guy up. So he may not stay there long, but that's the, I think that's the plan for now. I definitely don't want to go this way. So these are his two concerns, this blue and this red. Now, here's what's crazy. Green has not been taken yet. So we do have to go right there in that spot, that little sweet spot. So I'm just trying to eyeball that sweet spot. And I think if I understood it correctly, it's this spot right here. So that's where he's going. And then the 24th and the 25th, I'm going to put right here on these two green locations. And like so. All right, and then I'm just going to put these partially on because I need to get back to those soon. So now let's talk about the 5th division. The 5th division is a similar pickle. Green has not been taken, but we took brown. And so there's a field of fire here for brown, although technically this one here is not occupied by us, so we got to be careful. We do have blue, but we don't have green. So, I mean, you're looking around here, and you can see there's a spot here and a spot there. This one does have a field of fire from brown, so we have to be careful. But, and then up here along the beach, you could see there's a spot we could do. But beyond that, there's not a lot of spots. Green does have a pretty big field of fire, and we don't control it yet. So, so now I got to look at the units here. As far as hardware units go, or heavy weapon units go, they're all out. So the other heavy weapons unit is in here somewhere. I just don't remember where. We have a giant stack of 28th Regiment here. These are all 28th Regiment. This one is the 27th and the 28th. So it's a pretty common theme that the 28th is here. Now I do have some 26th here, but they're pretty banged up. There's some 26th over here, some 27th. And I'm looking up here, and 27th is the one that's been charging north. So 27th is a little bit scattered. But the 26th seems to be all nestled around in here. So so I'm making the executive decision that the 27th and 28th are going to be the two that are going to go after Suribachi. And it might be overkill. I might only need one. So I'm looking at the position dots again. We control brown. We don't control this, but neither do the Japanese. So So if I put the 27th there, so that way he's in support of these guys that are up here. And then the 28th, I can even put all the way down here into the orange spot. Nope, green has field of fire on orange. This would be the spot. So they would be right next to each other. I don't know how much I like that, but I will do it. So I'm going to put 27th and 28th right next to each other here. And then the 26th, I want to help with the airport. And it's unfortunate because I really thought we had this taken care of and I forgot about him. So if green was down, we would have so many awesome places to go, but now we don't. And orange has field of fire on this brown, so I can't go there, but I'm trying to see. I can't even go here because green has field of fire on that. I can do here or here right now at the moment, or I'm looking over here and see green still has field of fire over here. Now, green's disrupted. I don't think that him being disrupted matters. Let me make sure, because the command posts do have specific rules. You may convert to a command post in any hex that is not potential field of fire of a Japanese position. If a Japanese occupied position or an unoccupied position that's in Japanese communication projects any fields of fire, the HQ cannot be there. So we got to now look at this brown here. Does he have field of communication? That means, can he trace communication to a black unit this way or that way? This is more than 2 pips, so he has communication here, or he blocks communication. So communication is blocked here, and this one's blocking communication here. So the answer is no. Brown is not hurting us. Now, green, on the other hand, this one is blocking communication here, and this one is blocking communication here. Green is not in communication either. So technically speaking, we can plop our command post, something like that. Although that is not in orange's field of fire. So orange is in communication, so we can't go into orange's field of fire, but I could put him all the way up there, which is, it's an interesting concept. I think the better move may be to put it here, although this is really far away from my units. I mean, I may have some units that are out of command if I put him all the way over there. So I think I'm going to put him here. Okay, so that's it for my explanation. Whether or not this is a smart move, a dumb move, I can't tell you. The one thing I can tell you is all of 4th and 5th Division has landed. So there are no units left. There are some straggling tanks that could land later, but they're not... I can take those tanks and just put them in the reserve and then take them out of the reserve if they land and they're not in command. So there's no rule about them being in command to put them in reserve. So so it just delays when they actually show up. Okay, so now, with that being said, we're in the HQ phase, and the first thing we do is we place garrison markers. Well, garrison markers only get placed if you have a command post. We don't have a command post. So we're going to do that next turn. Next, we convert our regimental HQs into command posts and increase the range. And that's what we're going to do right now. So the 27th, for example, is turning into a command post. Okay, so now every one of these guys has a range marker. And we don't have to find the individual one, but just to show you, he's got a command range marker, and I'm converting every one of these into a command post. So we're going to have a big stack of 6 of these, and they're all just going to go right here on the 2 spot. So I got to now, this is like a memory test. Where did I put all my guys? So here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, and here's 5. And then 6 was somewhere. Were they right next to each other? Yeah, they were. Okay. So how do we interpret this? Every command post now has a range of 2. So 2 hexes away, they control anything that's in their regiment. So the 27th Regiment, anything that's within 2 spaces of here is automatically under command. Now, if there's a 27th Regiment like here, you can see there's one right here, 27th Regiment. He's more than 2 spaces away. He's out of command. But this happens to be an HQ unit, right? And so he's in command of himself, and he controls his space and then any space around him. So anybody from the 27th, like for example, this guy, is still in command, even though they're out of the regimental range. They just have a limited command. Not limited in terms of strength and things of that nature, but for example, this guy normally controls a range of 3, but now he only has a range of 2. Okay, so, and now this guy only controls the 3rd Battalion though. So even though this guy's next to him, he is not under his control. Does that make sense? And now there is a thing here. It says may command 1 rifle from division. So if we want, this HQ here can command this 1st Battalion. Even though he's 3rd Battalion, I can command 1 rifle from this 1st Battalion. Now this is where the mental gymnastics of this game is going to go in overdrive. So if I'm commanding this guy with this HQ, I can't command that guy with the same HQ. So I have to be really, really, really careful how I'm going to do this, and then keep track of how I'm going to do this. Now here you can see there's another 1st Battalion right here. This is actually a 1st Battalion HQ, so he would control this one automatically. So then this one is a 3rd Battalion HQ, and that's a 1st Battalion, so now he can control that one. You see how this is going to get really complicated. And it's only further complicated because we have so many units on the board. In some respects, I love this. But I also know I'm going to make mistakes. So we have to be meticulous here. Okay, so next step in the command range is we get to spend replacement points to build units. And this is where I really struggle, folks. I don't know if I'm supposed to replace units now, or, you know, do I wait? I can tell you this one's been getting chopped up from green, so it'd be nice to get him repaired. I can tell you there's some engineers here who took damage, and it'd be nice to save them. But like, how much of this do I spend? The other thing we can do is we can just take an entire battalion. Doesn't matter where the markers are on the map. We can take an entire battalion, as long as they're not in someone's field of fire, we can just plop them in the reserve for a day and let them heal that way. There's some good strategy to that, and that's actually a nice way to move off the map and then reappear on another part of the map later. So I think what I got to do is, whoever's going after Suribachi is 27th and 28th. Those are the priorities for healing. So I want to get some 27th and 28th guys healed up, and then go from there. Who's this one? That's the 28th. So yeah, I'm going to heal this engineer. So I'm going to repair him to full. And then we have to go over here, and it cost us an engineer point. So, for example, this is a guy on the 27th, and I'm going to repair him. So that means I got to get a step loss marker out. So that's 1. Actually, this guy's not the 20th, that's the 28th. But it's a 5th division. Okay, so there's 1 from the 5th division. These guys are going to potentially take some damage. This is 2 from the 5th division. This is 3 from the 5th division. And by the way, there's a limit. If you repair too much in one turn, you actually could hit a catastrophic loss. I don't think 3 is that limit, but here's 4. All right, so I'm going to stop at 4, and we go to the 5th division, and you can already see I've already spent a lot of repair points for the 5th division. I've actually spent 10 exactly. Okay, so catastrophic loss. You can't suffer more than 30 step losses in one day. That's actually hard to keep count of, but 30 losses in one day is quite the beating. All Japanese physicians, you cannot exceed your catastrophic loss limit. So what is catastrophic loss limit? It's funny because it's not listed there, but it's listed over here. It occurs the moment the number of infantry counters in a catastrophic loss box equals or exceeds the catastrophic loss level listed in these rules. Step loss marker in the loss box. Include only the fully eliminated units and whenever a rifle company loses a second step. Oh. Thus, an eliminated infantry adds 2 counters. So these infantry that have lost 2 steps would go into the catastrophic loss box. That's an interesting dilemma. Eliminated infantry HQ units and non-infantry are not placed in the loss box. It cannot occur before turn 7. Units that are rebuilt and removed from the loss box no longer count. And keep track of the losses by division. So here, the loss limit is initially 4 rifle companies for any one division. It only takes one of the 3 divisions to reach the limit until March 1st, and then it drops to 3. If the number of steps for any U.S. division drops to less than 14, replacement steps, then that division's limit is reduced by 1 rifle company. Okay. All right, so that's an interesting rule. I'm going to have to think about that. So it doesn't explain any specific catastrophic loss limits here. Okay, so what I think it's suggesting, and it's going to be really hard to keep track of, is remember those 2 units that we just repaired, they were down to 2 steps, right? So any unit that's down to 2 steps would put something in the loss pool over here. And it says it needs to exceed the current turn CL value, but I don't see a CL value for my turn. That is definitely from Palelu, the catastrophic loss limit, but I don't see that for my turn. Yeah, that's a little confusing. I'm going to have to do some look on that. I understand what catastrophic loss limit means if the infantry counters exceed the current turn CL value, but I don't see where the CL value is written down anywhere. I mean, I did see that if any one unit has so many steps by, March 3rd, Okay. All right, so I'm going to ignore that for now. We can go from there. But I am going to start keeping track. If we lose our steps, we'll put it over here. And there's probably some other unit somewhere, like this one here. So for example, the 25th of the 4th Division. So this 25th regiment here, 1st Battalion, A Company, his step marker that he lost would be in this 4th Marine Division box. But we're going to heal him right now. So we'll take that step marker back. And there's no rule that says you can't do this. It's just that that would have counted towards the catastrophic loss box, if that makes sense. So we'll at least spend 1 from the 4th Division to get him healed up. And I'm going to spend a point for them off camera. And we could do that, you know, for any of these that are like this. Here's another one that we're going to heal up. So I'm going to give him back 1. And that costs 1. Okay, and then this heavy weapon guy. You can see he hasn't lost enough to count towards our catastrophic loss, but I am going to heal him. Now that costs 2 because he's a heavy weapon. And so we have to spend 2 for that one. And I'm just going to make this general disclaimer. I'm not going to go through every single tile on here in front of you, but if we find one that has 2 steps or less, I am going to heal it, okay? If it's at 3 steps, I'm going to leave it be. So I am seeing one right away over here, but so we're going to go ahead and heal this one who was down to 1 step. And so this particular guy in the 28th Regiment is still down to 2 steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this step loss marker in the 5th Division. So that counts as a catastrophic loss. And then later on, I can always heal it up again, right? And then it'll count as 1 less catastrophic loss. So it's interesting. I think it's a lot of accounting. I really think it would be easier to keep track of some other way. But anyways, it is what it is. And so I'm just reserving the right that if we find more, I'll fix them and spend the points to fix them. But for now, that's all I'm going to spend. And we're going to move on to the next step. Now, one thing that's super duper important is I landed this HW guy, remember? And I landed these other guys. The landings only occur where the star is. So here you can see the star is up here, which is fine. That's where we landed them. But they only occur in the midday from here on out. And I don't know why there's 2 stars here. This suggests that it occurs in the morning, and this occurs in the midday. Here you can see it occurs in the morning, and then there it's midday. So I don't know what's going on with the double stars, but that's when the U.S. reinforcements arrive. So when we ended this, we were supposed to check to see if there's any more reinforcements coming. And for GT7, there's none. And then for GT8, there's nothing. And then for GT9, you can see there are reinforcements for GT9, okay? And that's where the 2nd star is. So, well, we did this correctly. Yeah, those stars are on the turn tracker to tell you when you need to come here and get some reinforcements out. So that's pretty cool. So we actually get 2 sets of reinforcements on this same day. We're on February 20th right now. Okay, so that's a lot of time to spend on just the HQ phase, but this is all new, and I hope it helped. And yeah, the reinforcement stuff is, I think it's really fun. Joe, if you're still watching this far in, I know I complained about those dots, but this reinforcements thing was awesome. And it's a little messy, right? Trying to figure out, you know, who it gets what, because look at all those counters. But I'm into that. I mean, that part is, I think, a fun part of the game because I'm not calculating line of sight. I'm just deciding what I want to do to make myself powerful. Okay, so let's move on. We are going to the event phase. I know, some of you are like, finally, let's go. All right, so we are not on February 19th anymore, which I think that actually was going to help us. So now we get smoke, 220. I think that event's going to help us, but I just don't know how. Smoke. Place smoke markers only in sectors with U.S. units present on 3 positions closest to U.S. units. Use the 3 colors on card. If a black position is within 2 hexes, place 1 marker there instead of on a color below the black position bar on the card. Okay, so we have a green here with a black bar above it. And what's awesome, I'm talking like super awesome, is we have a green here and there's a black position within 2. So we get to put a smoke marker on the black position. So there's smoke and he's not able to see us. So black is not firing this turn. And that's amazeballs right there. And then we just go around and we have a red and a blue as well. And that's actually helping us too. And I'll show you in a second. We have red firing on us here and we have blue firing on us there. So smoke means they can't fire this turn. I would have loved to have seen smoke over here too, but I think that was quite a good event to be quite, if I can come up with more ways to say quite in the same sentence, I will. All right, event. Now we do Japanese fire. We do have some trouble spots. We definitely don't want a star, because we have a lot of leaders that are vulnerable right now. We don't want orange firing or purple. Orange and purple are our problem children. So let's see what we get. We do get orange. So we're going to deal with orange. Green is not going to be a problem. I mean, it hurts us a little bit, but he loses his disruption marker. That's all this green does. And then there's no other green. Oh no, this green here, he loses his disruption marker. Like so. Okay, now let's do the orange. I didn't mean to go out of turn there. We are in an intense fire spot for that orange. I was hoping maybe with the bluff here that we wouldn't be, but we are. So we're definitely taking a hit. It's only going to be 1 hit, but the unit that was charging up to orange definitely got smacked. And orange always goes after the closest unit. So I think orange also hits here, but we applied the hit where it belonged. And he gets disrupted. And this disruption marker will be green, because the yellow ones are disappearing this turn. Then brown goes. Now, I gotta back up. We are on turn 7, so that means we do these actions. So orange is doing a reinforce or a resupply action. And so let me show you how this works now. You're going to look at whether a unit is occupied and U.S. units are in the field of fire. If it's occupied and there's no U.S. units, or if it's unoccupied in communication, meaning it can trace a line to a black position, and U.S. units within 3 hexes. So all these things have to be true. And then you just do the column that applies. Now the tanks could do something, potentially. And then, oh, this was turn 1 through 6. Hold on. Oh, I see. On turn 2, the M action came in. Oh, my apologies. If that was, I'm telling you, there was an email from the designer that said just ignore the letters until turn 7. So, according to this chart, certain actions would have started on turn 2, etc. I apologize, because that is not what I was doing. And then it says on turn 7, we do this chart over here. Wow, that was a complete miss. And here you can see on turn 7 through 48, the A and I. I must have told you 100 times you ignore the letters until turn 7. And that was right on Board Game Geek I swear to you, it was. I would swear it was even in the FAQ. But yeah, there's a whole chart here of what to do on specific turns. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that the R action, so we're on turn 7 and we're going to follow the rules that we said we would do. We're on turn 7, we have an R action, and there was an occupied unit. So it's he places a depth marker and then he fires. So it's not as simple as we were saying it was. He's getting a depth marker and he's firing. So now he hits 2 units. So he hit that one. And then you can see here on this brown spot, it's a checkered spot. It's not a solid color, or steady fire is what you would call it, but it's hitting a triangle. And there is a triangle unit here who already has a step loss. So this one does take another step loss. And this is the 5th division, so I'm going to put another step loss in the 5th division. So that's how it works. So that's why I was saying we wanted to clear as many of these out before turn 7 because these actions suck. And so this action was he actually resupplied himself and then he fired and he hit 2 units instead of 1. Yeah, my deepest apologies here. These actions are not new to this game. This is a pretty standard thing going all the way back to Omaha Beach. So I didn't even look at this because I saw that thing and just moved on. So, yeah, I'm very curious. What is the right answer to that? So, getting back to this, green was disrupted, so we don't do the M action for green. That would have also been awful, by the way. The brown action, this is just an anti-tank brown action, and there's no actual brown around to hit us, so nothing happens there. So we did take 2 hits up here. Beyond that, we're okay. I am a little concerned up there. We're getting a little bit weak, especially now that we got disrupted, and that unit would have been disrupted as well. But let's move on. We now have to do a second event. So we get a landing DUKW swamped. Now we gotta look what that means. That's not good. A DUKW is, wasn't it an amphibious tank? Lose 1 artillery point scheduled to land that day. Instead, recorded as landing earliest turn next day. The good news is we had no artillery points scheduled to land today. So we are sitting pretty on that one. I guess game turn 9 would have one. 3 more points for a division. Yeah, game turn 9. Oh, that's a hard one to keep track of. All right, well, technically speaking, that when we get the artillery points later in the day, we would subtract just 1 of those points, but we do get the point eventually. It's just not until tomorrow. That's a little annoying. Okay, so it is now our turn for actions. I would love to get this thing revealed. We have all kinds of command issues going on. So I need to get the 26th up. I need to get the 27th and 28th over. And this is not going to be a small amount of time. Just to warn you, we have to go through, I think, every one of these stacks one by one and sort it out. So I'm not going to belabor it too much. Let's just dive in and get it done. But for example, we're going to come over to here and you can see that this 28th has a range of 2, right? And then this is the 28th Battalion that's already out of that range. So he's only controlling himself and around him. Now, if I move forward here, that's an infiltration, and green will get the fire. So I have to be careful. I don't even know where the rest of his battalion is. That's the other thing. They do try to help us, because you can see it's got a red star. And so you just have to look for red, but these reds, this red's the 26th. This, by the way, is the 28th. So this infantry belongs to him. So we do want to try to get him back to his papa. And so those are the kind of things we have to sort out. I want to take green out desperately. And this one had smoke, so we didn't get hit. But I do have to go back. I have to go back to a time when we had peace. No, I mean, we need to go back to this black one, because he's firing. And he's firing and hitting triangle. See, that's the triangle there. This is a checkered black spot. And so if this is a triangle, we take a hit. So it's a diamond, and we don't take a hit. So we're fine. And these are 2 HQ units, so no damage there. And nobody else is in his range. So we're fine. I just needed to make sure of that. Okay. Yeah, it's a peanut butter close combat time, I think. And what we're going to do is we're going to do close combat on this green here with this stack. I'm just charging the entire stack in. And we're going to resolve it immediately and get this done. Now, I have to make sure that this stack is in command. So let me look at it. It's the 28th. The whole thing is the 28th. I do have 2 tanks, which, ooh, I may not want to move the tanks in. Yeah, I'll move the tanks in. And there's an HQ unit right on top. So he controls himself and his battalion, and he can control the tanks. Those tanks are part of him. So this is a valid move. We're going to hit this 4th Southern Air Group, or I think that's what SAG stands for. And let's get it done. So they're not disrupted, so that means we've got to hit him twice. He's going to get 1 card for being him, and he's going to get 1 card for CC. And that's it. He's not in any terrain that gives him a bonus. Now, we have all kinds of pips here. We have 2, 4, and I think tank pips count as double. I just need to find my card. Close combat. Tanks are double. Haha. So 4, 8, 12, 14. Divided by 3 is 4. So we get 4 cards. That's the maximum cards we can get anyway. So that's awesome. 4 cards. We definitely have a flamethrower, so we get another one for that. And I think that's it. Now, we actually had more than 1 flamethrower, but you only get 1 card. And by the way, it's 5 cards max, so we hit our max card anyways. We don't need to do any more calculations. The Japanese, just to make sure, they get 1 for every CC. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so they still get to go first. It's green, and as long as they don't hit us, I think we're going to be sitting pretty with this one. And the conscripts surrender. Now this, I think when we read it, it only happens when we draw it on the US card. Or otherwise, he would have surrendered, and that would have been quite nice, but nothing happens. And then here we go. We got a green, and so we disrupted him. So that's our first hit. We need to hit him again to kill him. If he was already disrupted or wouldn't have had it removed, we would have gotten him right away. But because we hit him, he loses his top card. So he doesn't have the ability to hit us anymore. So now we're basically just punching him in the gut and hoping that he eventually stops breathing. And there it is. There's our green. That was smooth as butter right there. And so we finally took out green. And that is a wonderful, wonderful situation. And what that allows us to do is these guys, with 2 tanks, is now sitting in a position where he can barrage 3 spaces away and pound the living crap out of Suribachi. So that was the idea. Also, with that idea, is we now occupied green, so this field of fire all of a sudden died, and our units can move and not necessarily deal with field of fire stuff. So let's look at that real quick and go from there. So, for example, this HQ unit can bump one forward, and I'm going to do that, even though he's way out of his range. So the 28th is here, so he has a range of 2. I'm now 4 away, but that's what I'm doing for now. So he's very far forward. This guy has a hero, so he does not need a leader to help him. Oh, I'm just dropping things left and right. Okay, so what he's going to do is I can't move through this hex, because remember, anytime it happens, it's an instantaneous paralysis for everybody. But what I can do is I can move here first and then here second. And by moving here, I did trigger Muff, because this one was free, but now I'm moving again in his field of fire. So as long as I don't draw a star, now it's black, it's actually impossible for him to hit me. Yeah, he doesn't hit me. I think the only way he could have hit me is if I drew a star that had a black line above it. It would have been a star action with a black line. But he can't hit me. His symbols are never going to match my symbols. So that's done. And then I have this one here who is in command. Okay, so he can move in command, and he's just going to go 1, 2 like this. And actually, I just realized something. Black is under smoke, so I didn't even need to draw fire. We can actually move in free right now. I have to still be careful, because the command is not quite 3 spaces away, but now this unit here, I can move it here so he's in command of that battalion. It's not a bad idea, but that's an intense black, which means he's going to be guaranteed to get hit. Now the green, this is an intense black as well, which is a guaranteed to get hit. So I'm going to do it, because I think what you have to do now is we're going to overwhelm them. Plus, he needs to stay with his battalion. That's the next thing we got to do. We got to get everybody with their battalion, so that way they can have some sanity. So now I need to find where are the HQ leaders of these other battalions, and then try to sort it out from there. So, for example, where is one? Here's one. We have the 28th Regiment, 2nd Battalion up here. And here's the 28th Regiment, 2nd Battalion here. That's the rest of his unit. So I am sitting here with my HQ. So what do? Do I keep going this way, which is what I was doing? Or do I start going that way? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going that way. So I'm going to move 2 spaces. And now, believe it or not, those are a lot of these are step loss markers. Actually, no, there's 1, 2 infantry, a tank, an engineer, and me. So I actually can't do that. So let me get the tank, engineer, and me back over here. Can't do it. So these units have 2 infantry already in them. So they have to just stay within range of the HQ. So what they're going to do is they're just going to stay here on blue and hold it. And that's within range of the HQ. So very tricky stuff here. Now here's 28th Regiment again. HQ is right here. So they're in command. And so I'm going to move this guy over here and just have him hold orange. I have no idea where his leader is. His mom and dad left him. Here is a situation where I'm on the 27th, and we're going to try to take this beach. So I'm going to move these guys 3 spaces, 1, 2, and I think I'm going to go here. Yeah, I'm going to go here for 3. Now, this is where the dots would come in handy, because now I got to go back and check. That is also under fire for purple. So the other thing we have to do is I have to figure out when these sand dunes are on game turn 7, all beach hexes containing terraces are bulldozed, so those no longer provide a penalty. And game turn 10, anything adjacent to an active beach hex is considered bulldozed. All right, so that's important. Yeah, because any unit that starts in a terrace can only move 1 hex. Okay. I know this is taking a while, folks, but that's sort of where, we have to look at the numbers now and really sort this out. And maybe I should have been doing that for 7 turns, but I didn't. All right, so obviously this is a 28th unit, 2nd Battalion, and he actually belongs to this family. This guy does not have a 2nd unit with him, so I'm actually going to move him 2 spaces to join his papa. And I'm going to keep the HQ on top so it's easier to remember who has command. All right, this is where a computer game would be more helpful, huh? Because it keeps track of all of this, and you can have like little graphical circles on the map. Okay, this is the 26th. This is bulldozed, so if you start your turn here, you're no longer constrained to being able to only move 1. And it doesn't say what happens when you're moving through 1. It just says if you start on 1. So this is the 26th, and he needs to go north, young man. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Ooh, hold on. He doesn't have a papa. He's not in command. So I need to think about that. And the regimental can command 1 extra battalion. So this guy here commands this location, so he can control the 1st Battalion of the 26th. So I may do that. I just need to think about it, okay? So I'm just setting him to the side. This one is in the 28th, and this belongs to that unit, so we're going to move him over. They both taken a hit, but they're now both here, and they're next to their papa over here. Okay, so I think I got ourselves a nice little wall going here with, I actually don't think these guys moved. This is the 26th Battalion. This is 2nd Battalion, 26th Regiment, 2nd Battalion. And I'm going to move 1, 2, 3 up to there. Let's get that going. So he's definitely in range now of his papa. All right, so this is the 27th. I think we said that they're both, this is the 28th, and then that's the 27th. This is the HQ for the 20. I'm going to hold on to him for a second. Moving on here, we got the 26th. This one is a part of this one. Does he have, yep, he's already full. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 right behind him. So he's within 1. This is the 26th with an engineer. So 26th we want to get up here too. So we're going to get him off the beach. 1, 2, 3 to here. And then this is the 26th. And we're going to get him also to there. This is one that's a badass on the 26th. And we got to be careful because I can't even move through hexes. So we got a big log jam here. And just forgive me if I break a few rules because I'm not paying attention to stacks. This is one. I moved the guy and didn't remove his loss marker. So who was standing on here? I think it was him. Crazy, 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 cray. Okay. This guy, I need to get north, but I got to make room. And they might have to just sit tight for a bit. They're actually out of range. So remember, we can control one battalion with this divisional or this regional headquarter. And so I can choose one of these units from the 26th to be in there. And then look, we got another one here. And then there's one from the 28th. So this guy from the 28th, I'm going to move to there. He actually needs to get to there. So I'm actually going to move him one more over. And he's not in range of that, but he is in his divisional range. Sorry if my hand's in the way. So yeah, this is all just a big sorting exercise. And then, oh, by the way, we're at war. So I need to take this guy out. And I think I'm going to do it with... This unit already took a hit. This unit hasn't. He's with the 23rd. Yeah, we're going to charge with this unit, right? See, this is a crazy one. This HQ does not have command over him because he's 4th Division. So this guy only can go if he's in command of his own, if somebody else is in command of him. And I think it's this one. So that's the 23rd. And this one is the 23rd. Okay, so what we're going to do then is, and this is the 27th. So let me just set this aside. This guy's going to charge in for close combat here. And then this HQ is going to join him because those two belong together. And then this guy is still there. So I hope that makes sense. We're going to do 2 different sides. That means we have to wait until the end of the round to do this. However, you can barrage and close combat in the same turn. So if you remember, we now have artillery points. We have 5 artillery points for the 4th Division. And these guys are from the 4th Division. And they were in command of this HQ here. So he had a range of 2. And then this guy's was there. And anyways, what I'm trying to say is we have 5 points of strength. And we're going to barrage him. So let's do that. And that's where the artillery used comes in. So I just spent 5 points of artillery, so I can use this marker to represent and remind myself that I already spent the artillery for that. So we're going to do what's called the, this is the divisional artillery. And I don't know what color or shape it uses. Like, is it a diamond? For 4th Division and a triangle for 5th and something else for 3rd. I don't think it is. Well, here you go. Largest divisional, it actually tells you here. Divisional artillery, largest single barrage is 3 points. So I can't spend 5 points. I can only spend 3. So I'm going to do that. I'll spend 3. And what's my symbol? I gotta look it up. Why doesn't it say it on the sheet? That's what drives me crazy. Oh, I know it's called divisional artillery, but I need to figure out what shape am I using when I draw this card. All right, so now it's referencing me to 8.1. .1 is not it. Okay, so it says cross-reference the card with the symbol for the type of barrage. Oh, I'm a fool. I'm a fool. Right here. Artillery is always a diamond. So there it is. Diamond. We actually matched it. All right, yes. So it's a diamond, and I was barraging a green spot, though. So it was not as good as it could be. So I hit the symbol, but not the color, and it was a strength 3 barrage, and it's a D1, and that's all we needed. We just needed to disrupt the Japanese unit, and we succeeded. So we disrupted him, and now we just need one hit on the guy, and he's toast. So that's for the close combat. So my apologies. They tell you right here, there's a diamond for artillery, a triangle for naval, and a circle for air. It's written right there. Okay, so they did not disappoint me. I was just a whining, complaining fool. I'm very tempted to take these 26th Division units and just put them in the reserve box, since they're really far away from their command post and from their HQ leader. And it might take me that many turns just to get up there anyways. So yeah, let's give it a try. We're going to put this 26th command unit with his step loss. These guys are in the 5th division. And so what you do is you just put them up here. And I'm putting them there in the morning. So by the next morning, they'll be available. And then here, there's another 26, another 2. And see, their headquarters is nowhere to be found unless it's in this big stack, which it's not. So these 2 are full strength, but I'm going to put them in anyways. And then this is another 26th, and so is this one. Now, this HQ is next to them. So I'll leave this guy there, but this one already has a hit, so I might as well put him in the reserve box. So you can see I'm just taking some of the 26th off the beach because they're nowhere near where they need to go. These 2 have their papa, and he commands himself, so we can do that. And then here's one from the 27th now that I can, do a 1, 2, 3 and actually get him closer to the action this way. Here's another one from the 27th, and I can move him, for example, there. And here's one from the 27th, from the 2nd Battalion. So you can see I'm now moving stuff closer to where they belong. Although this 27th is here, and these guys are out of command now, because these are 3 away. But they will go into command soon enough. So I may not want to move them there, is what I'm trying to say. These guys I can actually move on top of here. And this one I could actually have moved right to there. And then here we go. We found the headquarters for the 27th here. So I'm going to move them 1, 2 to get to there. And yes, I know there's stacking limit issues. This guy is the 26th. Here's one from the 27th all the way over here. So we need to get him out of here. So 1, 2, 3. And then this guy from the 26th will move all the way up. And this one will move up and actually have him, he has to stop there. This one's from the 27th. And he's got a full stack. He has an injured engineer, so we're going to fix that engineer. Remember, I said I reserved the right. So that's an engineer from the 5th. Actually, engineer points are just a common thing. Okay, so I can't leave stuff like this open. So I do have to make sure that those things get filled in. Okay, so this guy is going to move 1, 2 to get next to orange. He's in orange's serious field of fire here, but I don't know where he was there. So let me check the pip box. he's fine. Orange can't even hit here. That's the reason why the HQ is there. That's right. So he moved through the HQ and got to there. We have a unit from the 28th here, so I'm going to move him to here just to take this. Get him closer to his papa. These units from the 26th that I said I was going to put in the reserve, but they're full health, I will actually put them here instead. They had the movement points. They were very close to it. And in fact, I might even put one of them here, so one each will control purple for now. And it's okay that they're out of command. I'm just holding spots with them. Then this guy has to get out of dodge. He's with the 24th. And we decided that the 24th is going east, so he's got a long way to go. So what he wants to do is go 1, 2, 3, but then I have to make room. So I'm going to put him here, assuming I can deal with this mess. This is a big stack of tanks and whatnot. Yeah, they're moving. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, like so. And so yes, that opens up the door for him to go here. And then here's another one from the 23rd who might charge forward. He will. So 1, 2, 3. He's with his papa. These guys are actually in range of the papa. And this guy from the 24th, I'm going to take these two. Well, they're both down here. This guy from the 24th will go ahead and take that. And then we have a tank and engineer. Here we go. This is an HQ from the 24th with a full stack. And he'll go 1, 2, 3. And I know I just went through this stack, so I got to deal something with them. They're in the, yeah. This is just a mess because the order you move them matters. And I am probably breaking a few rules where I'm going over a stack, and he does have rules where you can't do that. It's an instant thing. In the old game, you could go over stacks. So it's a bad habit that I just still have with me, is what I'm trying to explain to you. And then I'm having a hard time remembering who went or who didn't go. I know they went. This guy's with the 28th, and he's a full stack. But what I have to do with this full stack is I have to go take Brown here. I can't afford to let Brown be available. So I'm taking that with him. And I know I moved these guys up to try to go this way. These guys are going to lose their disruption. No, they're not. They got disrupted this turn. This one loses his disruption marker this turn. And he is hurting for certain. I think this guy I wanted to move, or maybe I did move him. This is the one I wanted to move. 1, 2, 3. I got the heavy weapons unit up, and it looks like he's sitting pretty. This will be resolved at the end of the turn. It looks like these guys are all sitting pretty. I want to attack blue here. And just so you know, the HQ unit was here, but these two guys are not eligible because they moved up. But the HQ unit can attack blue, so we're going to reveal blue. And you see we got a close combat, but we're a 3-2. And a 3-2 then gets reduced to a 1-1. So then he gets a revealed depth marker. All right, so let's reveal depth marker. It's a flamethrower 1. So he now has 3 strength, and we have 3 strength. And that's an equal, but then we're 1 less, so it's an ADR. All S units in the hex with the most steps are disrupted. And then the R is, oh, that was if it was unrevealed. So we would have been here. No effect. No effect is what happens. Nobody's getting disrupted. It's no effect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove these smoke markers. I don't think they stay on them. I think it was just for that turn, but that smoke marker was awesome. It would have been nice to get to the black Suribachi so we could start barraging the crap out of it, but that's not going to be happening. So this guy is not disrupted. That's the only drawback to this, is now he can really tear us apart. This red, though, we are going to attack. We have the mortar, and even if you cut our strength in half, he's toast. So we did destroy that one. And I probably should have reserved 1 unit to move forward, but there was only 2 units there, so that's fine. This guy loses his disruption, but this guy's going to move forward. 1, 2. And we do have to draw a card for black. And there we go. And so he's fine. That was the muff fire. He went into his range here, and then he kept going into his range there. Oh, no, there is no muff fire because this guy has him reduced. So bing, bing. That's the whole point, is if you're next to him, his muff fire is only next to him. That's it. This one lost his disruption marker. He can't move, but these guys can. And they're with the 24th. So we have to be a little careful because the 24th is... Actually, it's this one right here. So I'm going to move... He's got a range of 2, so if I move my HQ to here, I'm still within range of this headquarters, and then these units can all move there and take red. Now, I think they are in the field of fire for brown. Let me look for muff fire. There's a possible muff fire situation. There is a muff fire situation. And, oh my gosh, look at that. There's that brown star that we were talking about. It's a triangle. And we do have a triangle. It's this engineer here. I'm okay with disrupting. So I'm going to disrupt 2 units there instead of taking the damage. And the one that won't be disrupted will be the tank. So I'm going to disrupt those 2 units and just put the tank on top. That is an option to avoid taking a hit. So I'm going to avoid take a hit there. And we still claim the red, which is good. Chicken good. All right. There's so much still to sort, and thank you for your patience, but hey, I'm not rambling. We're just playing a game. This guy is revealing. I'm going to attack, and I know I'm not going to win, but we have a fortification involved now, so there's more rules, folks. But this is going to be fun, I think. We do have to deal with a fortification, and they have a ton of rules, the fortifications do. I did not write them on an index card. So here's the issue with fortifications. A lot of this is when to place forts, how to place forts, etc. We're not too concerned about that. The properties. It is always considered a Japanese unit. It fires and halts movement and projects field of fire just like anything else. Class 1 fort has a strength of 3, 2, and 1 respectively, and it must be eliminated by a barrage or occupation. A revealed fortification marker indicates what hex sides are impassable. Okay, that's something we're going to deal with right now. A fortification marker revealed when a U.S. unit attempts to attack it. When this occurs, flip the fortification marker face up, and then you have to orient it so the arrow is pointing down. And then there's going to be some sides that are going to be blocked, meaning that you can't attack it from that direction, which always makes things interesting. When a U.S. unit initially attacks an unrevealed fort, the obstructed hex sides may be such that the U.S. unit is attempting to attack through that obstructed hex side. If that happens, then we're disrupted. and it's revealed. The fort gains 1 unit in depth marker from the reserve pool if they are available. If they are not, any adjacent Japanese unit that is not already adjacent to a U.S. unit is moved in. It gains 1 unit in depth marker from the reserve pool if they are available. Does it just get it? Or does it get it when you attack it? A black position hilltop fort triples the defense value of any Japanese unit occupying it. All other fort locations double it. During a close combat, if all units and depth markers have been eliminated, but a fort still exists, the fortification is treated like a unit. It must be eliminated. Then there's terrain effects. And when you reduce it, it just goes to the next weaker fort. When replacing a reduced fort marker, use the same procedure for initial placement of a fort. And if it's a hilltop, it gets a unit from the reserve pool and depth marker. Okay, I'm at an hour and 17 minutes. I'm going to stop and do some research on forts. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to attack that fort and get it revealed. But before I quit, we are going to attack this purple as well, just with our 1 unit we have here. And you can see it's an MG, and we don't have an MG, and it's a 1-to-1. So that means he gets a depth marker, but then nothing happens. So he does get stronger. So that hurts. And that gets a Sector 3 depth marker, not a Sector 2 depth marker. So I'm going to go grab one and give it to him. But as long as I don't get disrupted, we're actually going to be in great shape. And I'm going to undisrupt those. And I'm going to just look real quick. I'm going to just get my movements done. So this is a command with an engineer. And yes, we're going to start charging. 1, 2, 3, like that. And he doesn't do muff because we already have people next to him. This is the 25th Division. Thing is wherever his papa is, it's nowhere near here. So that's also 25th, but he's got his big papa there. I do have to be careful because he could hit these, but I'm going to go for it. Let's move in. No. I'm just going to move it here. This is a 24th, and I am going to move in with this guy. This one already has 2. This one already has 2, so I'm going to move him up to here. But he's not helping with the attack. The only one that would be able to attack is him. I'm just trying to get people off the beach, and, you know, this one, here's his HQ. So we're going to stay there next to his HQ. And then these two are with the 25th. And He's 2nd Battalion, so there's his papa. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And then this tank here is out of command. So we can't move him. So what I'm going to do with him is I'm just going to put him in the reserves for the 4th Marine Division because trying to get him in command would actually be more difficult. And these are with the 25th. I'm going to just say I think everybody else moved, although this guy I don't think has. He's with the 25th. He has a tank. Yeah, he's definitely moving. He has tanks and stuff. So he's going to move up so we can get in position to barrage. Right? So we got ourselves a nice formidable force. We're ready to go. I want to reveal this unit, but I got to figure out how fortifications work. And just so I'm sharing with you what's going through my mind, the fortifications are just another element of the attack. It's almost like a second depth marker. But the part that hung me up is it says that it's supposed to get a depth marker and a unit. And that's what has me hung up. And it says that if there is no unit in reserves, it gets one from, so like if I attack this one here, this unit would actually move over and help. I get that. I even get that this is supposed to have a depth marker and a unit, but I don't know when I'm supposed to put those on. Was it at the beginning of the game? Was I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to do this the moment I attack it? I need to understand that procedure a little better. The other thing is I do know from reading the rules and some other places that if you have 2 fortifications in the same spot, each of them gets their own depth marker and unit. So you can have like layers of onions that you're carving away. And so what I'm wondering is if this is going to get a depth marker and a unit, does this unit sit on top of them? Or is this unit the unit that goes with that? That's where I'm hung up. So I want to get that resolved. And thank you. This was a productive turn, even if it was a long one. And I just need to get this fortification thing figured out. And I think this is the last area of rules that that are brand new. I'm not saying we're not going to look stuff up, but in terms of like new stuff, and in this case, the rules are actually quite nebulous. And there's even some people on Board Game Geek that are going a little apeshit over this. Look, I'm not blaming them because it is a little ambiguous. I'm even stuck after reading it. So I'm also stuck. It doesn't make sense, and I do need to sort it out. But with that being said, the support for this game is excellent, and the fun level is excellent. So let me get it sorted out, and I'll see you in probably an hour. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.